Hello everyone and welcome to the No Man's Sky training tutorial. I'm your host, Colors Fade. In this video I will show you how I do trading in No Man's Sky. I think it's one of the most effective ways for you to make a whole lot of money in the game. But I'm going to start by pointing to Zane's website because that is where I got all of my information. If you just want to follow his guidance, you can make a lot of money, but you will make trade routes in a very specific way. I happen to think my way is a little bit better, my guidance is a little bit different than his, and we'll get to those differences as we go through the tutorial. So let's get started. The first thing you need if you're going to do trading in No Man's Sky is a ship with a lot of slots. It doesn't have to be a hauler, but haulers are the best ships. So we're going to come up here and we're going to take a look at my hauler. Now you can do this with any of the other ships. Shuttles are also very good. They have a lot of space inside them. Anything you can get with a lot of slots. My hauler is an A-class 47 slots, but I started out with a C-class shuttle that had about 30 slots that I found on a planet. And I repaired a little bit and I took it and I traded it in for another C-class hauler with 30 some slots. That's a good way to get a good trading ship early in the game, is just find a crashed ship, repair the engines and the pulse engine and get it up to a space station and trade it in for another ship of similar value. Anything with a lot of slots. Now my ship here is a little bit overkill. I have a cyclotron ballista in it and I have a whole bunch of upgrades for the deflector shields. You don't need any of this stuff. You don't need anything but the bare minimum weapon, because you're not going to be fighting pirates or anything like that. Pirates you can always run from. But in my particular case, I use the ship for a little bit more than that. It does some exploration and other things, so I have stuff in here. But if you're going to use it just for purely trading purposes, I recommend you clear everything out of here and have as many free slots for trade as possible. The second thing you're going to need on the list is an economy scanner. This is going to be really important for two reasons. First, it's going to allow you to see the different colors of the systems in space based on their economy, which is how you're going to establish your trade routes as you go along. And the second thing is it'll quickly allow you to find trading posts when you land on a planet. The third thing you need is all of the hyperdrives, the colored hyperdrives, the cadmium drive, the emerald drive, and the indium drive. These are not hard for you to get. They take a little bit of time and a little bit of mining to get them all. But you need these because you can't be certain of what system you're going to be jetting to, hyperdriving to next in your trade route. You may, the optimal system might be one that requires an emerald drive, and so you just want to have all these installed before you go. The last thing you need is, I recommend having as many hyperdrive upgrades as you can get, and preferably S-class ones. This might take a while for you to get because these are spendy. They cost about 459 nuts a piece, these S-class ones. So you might want to get the C-class or B-class ones, whatever ones you can afford. But get as many as you can, because what those do is extend your hyperdrive range. You can see mine is 914 light years. This will allow you to find the most optimum planets when you're doing your trade routes. So now that we have all of that stuff, how do you actually trade? Well, for starters, there are 7 economy types in the game. And these are advanced materials, manufacturing, mining, power generation, scientific, technology, and trading. But you don't need to know what the names of these are. All you care about is the colors. Because each trade route is done by trading from one type to another, and they're very specific in No Man's Sky. There are basically 2 trade routes, 2 loops that you can do in the game. And the first one is to go from green to purple to blue, back to green, and that means going trading, advanced materials, scientific, and back to trading. As long as you keep trading among those 3 system types, keep going from one to the next to the next to the next, you will keep buying and selling and making money. The second loop is red, orange, yellow, cyan, and that is power generation, mining, manufacturing, and technology. Again, the type doesn't matter. All you care about is color, and that's what you're going to use the economy scanner for when you're in space. So the next most important thing after knowing the different trade routes is the strength of the various economies in the game. There are 5 tiers of goods when you go to buy and sell. So let's see what those are. I'll show them right here because we're on what we call a high class planet right now. And let me reiterate, there are basically 3 tiers. They have a lot of different names, but there are 3 tiers of economy strength. There are high, medium, and low. In the high system, you have advanced, affluent, booming, flourishing, high supply, opulent, prosperous, and wealthy. All of those are effectively the same, and what they mean is you are guaranteed to have tier 1 and tier 2 items, the most expensive trade items when you go to buy. Trade items, when you go to the Galactic Trade Network and you go to buy, are always the first 5 items listed in there, these white items. And these are not used for anything in the game. They are just for trading. So you can see in this trade station, the most expensive item is the Quantum Accelerator at 43,692 units per item. You want to trade this and the tier 2 item. The tier 2 item is the Autonomous Positioning Unit. It's worth 24,609 units per item. If you go to a medium supply or a low supply system, you will not have tier 1 items and maybe not tier 2 items. And in low supply, I think you only get like tier 4 and tier 5 items. Now, you can trade the tier 4 and tier 5 items. You can see the tier 5 is worth 416 per unit. And in the beginning in the game, when you don't have a lot of money to spend on buying and selling, go ahead and trade these lower items. It's still profit. But your most profitable items are going to be these really expensive ones. You can see the profit margin on them is smaller. This one is you're buying at minus 16.8% compared to buying at minus 60.3% for the tier 5 item. But it's so much more money buying and selling. Your profit margin is way bigger. So this is how we're going to make a ton of money. So you're going to see I'm starting with 122 million credits, and we're going to buy this item. Now, before I buy this, I want to show you my Exo-suit is also maxed out, and so is my cargo space. You want to have as much free space as you want. And in the beginning of the game, your Exo-suit's only going to have a few slots, but every single space station has a chance for you to upgrade, to buy an upgrade to your suit. And that's why I recommend going to new systems when you're trading instead of making an actual physical loop between systems like Zane recommends. So we have a lot of room, so we're going to buy some goods. We're going to buy all of the tier 5 goods and put those in our Exo-suit. And then we're going to buy all of the tier 2 goods and put those on our ship. I don't have enough free slots. I was able to buy 155 units. I still have a bunch of room on my Exo-suit, so now I'm going to buy the tier 3 goods, which are the ion capacitor, at 10,587 credits per unit. And I think I can probably buy all of these and fit them on my suit. Yep. And in fact, I could buy some of the tier 4 items if I wanted to, so I can buy. I'm going to buy these at 5 a time until my suit is full. Wow, I can buy a lot of them. I have a lot of room. You're not going to have this much room when you start trading, obviously, but you're going to get there. So now you get on your ship and you take off. And we're going to start trading. Now comes the fun part of the trading. You get into outer space, you click on your galactic map, and the first thing you want to do is enable your economy scanner. Now on a PC, you hit the up arrow key and you can see at the top of the screen here, it says filter economy. And so now everything is filtered by the economy of the systems. And you can see they all match the colors I described before: red, purple, cyan, yellow, orange. We are in a cyan system. So that means we're going to be doing the first kind of trade route that goes between red, orange, yellow, and cyan. Since we're at cyan, the next system we need to go to is a red system. So what I like to do is just point at the galactic center of the universe, because the objective of the game is to make your way towards the center, and find the next red system that is a high supply system. Now remember the high supply systems. They're advanced, affluent, booming, flourishing. High supply, opulent, prosperous, or wealthy. So we're just going to go around until we can find one of those. Sustainable is a medium system, and we don't care about those. Unpromising is a low system, and we don't care about those. We want the high supply system so that we can get the tier 1 goods for sure. So this is the part that takes a little bit of time. There's a promising system, adequate, those are all medium supplies. There's a comfortable, and that's a medium supply. And then here we are at a red system that is advanced. The sell is 53.9 and the buy is minus 22.7, which is actually pretty good. Now you can tag this, and if you really want to maximize, you can sit there and try to find another high supply red system that has a better spread between the buy and sell. But in my experience, the simplest thing is to just keep going and grab the first one that you find and use it. So I'm going to custom waypoint right there. Now my hyperdrive has no fuel, which brings me to the next most important thing that I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the video. Always have backup antimatter and warp cells so you can make sure your starship is fully fueled. So I'm going to fuel my hyperdrive. We're going to go back in here. I'm going to find our custom destination. This system right here, which is an advanced red star system, and we're going to hyperdrive to it. So the whole point of going to a high supply system is to guarantee that we get tier 1 and tier 2 goods. Now we've jumped into a system that has a battle, and if you're just trading like I am right now, you don't care about the battles. If you want to, join in the fray of that battle, and that might be a freighter that has an upgrade for you. It might be an upgrade to the freighter you have, but for right now, all I care about is trading. So my recommendation, this is where I recommend something that's different from what Zane recommends, is he just jumps from trading post to trading post after he sets up the loop. I recommend jumping into new system every single time. So we found a new red system we went to, and you should go to the space station first. You're not going to buy and sell the goods at the space station because space stations do not have good prices. You get better prices at a trade station, which is always on a planet, which is where we started at this video. But I recommend you come up here for 2 reasons. You should always come here and get the upgrade for your Exo-suit. Now if you click on this, it'll give you a chance to buy a new slot in your Exo-suit, either in your general area, your cargo area, or your technology area. I am completely maxed out because I've done this a bunch of trading and I've bought all these upgrades. But that's my first recommendation. Come in here and always get the Exo-suit upgrade. My second recommendation is come in here and always check. Every single one of these vendors has a gun that you can check in this slot. See if it's better than yours. This is a B-class multi-tool with 21 slots. I already have an A-class multi-tool with a maximum 24 slots, but that's how I got it. Was I kept coming in here, and every single time I landed at a new space station when I was trading, I would check the gun and see if the multi-tool was better than the one I had. The third thing that I recommend that you do, take a little bit of time and come up here and grab the easy missions that you can do later on. You don't want to grab system-specific missions that are going to force you to come back to this system. But you can grab the really easy ones, like scan 5 planets. That's easy. You can do that when you're playing the game for regular. Hunting low-level pirates is always easy. I'm not going to grab those right now because I don't want to worry about it. But also taking photos is easy. So any of these easy missions that are going to get you nanites that are going to allow you to upgrade your ship and your exo-suit and your multi-tool, just come grab them and just keep accumulating them. And then when you're out there playing the game and not trading, you'll find that you'll complete all those missions really easily. And you'll earn a whole bunch of credits and nanites in a really short order. So, first order of business is to come into the space station and do those things. The second order of business is to grab the closest planet, and as long as it's not a dead planet, it's going to have trading posts on it. So as long as it's not an airless dead world. My recommendation is to do this really easily. Just jet right into it with your pulse engine. Get all the way into the atmosphere. And then once you're in the atmosphere of the planet, on PC, hit your X button, go to Utilities, and scan for a trade outpost. 99% of the time doing so, once you're in the atmosphere of a planet, will find you a trade post on that planet. So you don't have to waste 45 seconds to 2 minutes flying to one of the other planets further away. You always want to get the closest planet. You're just trying to shave time here. I'm going to ignore the comms for the moment. We're going to go over to this trade post. So if it's further than 30 or 45 seconds away flying over the planet, just leave the planet and use your pulse engine to get over to it and save yourself a few seconds or a couple minutes. You saw this one was 6 minutes away. I don't want to spend 6 minutes flying over the surface of the planet to get it, so I'm just going to leave atmosphere and then I'm going to come back. Have a little bit of a low approach there. So you found a trade outpost. These are where the best prices you're going to get for buying and selling your goods. So come down here and sell your items for profit. You can see the welding soap and all these things, lots of money. So the quantum accelerator are our tier 1 goods, so we're going to sell those. Iron capacitors, welding soap, we're going to switch over to our ship and sell those. Now, if you're early in the game and you want to make money, my recommendation is also, after you sell everything, there are various things right there. There are various things on the trade outpost platforms that you can come loot. As long as you have an Atlas Pass version 1, you can loot these. And you can get all kinds of things like navigation data, but the coolest thing is you can often get antimatter or antimatter housing, which will save you from having to make antimatter laser. We got one right there, an antimatter housing. So that just makes it a little bit easier to keep trading. These 2 lower docking bays sometimes have things on them, so that's what I do at the beginning of the game anyways, is I come in here and I loot these things, and then I buy my goods. So our tier 1 good is the fusion core at 43,000 apiece. I'm going to buy all of those because I have enough room. If you don't have enough room, you just buy what you can and get ready to move on. The tier 2 item is the experimental power fluid, so I'm going to buy all those on my ship. And then I'm going to buy the rest of the tier 3 items. Hopefully, it'll all fit on my exosuit. Won't all fit, so we're going to take some off and figure out exactly how many I can get. There we go. I got 130. Can I get some more? Alright. So I'm full up. There's my exosuit. There's my exosuit cargo. There's my starship. I'm not going to be picky and like completely maximize it and make sure that every slot is full. I'm just going to go up here. And the cool thing about going to a new system every time is you can also, if you see something that you really like that you might want to buy, use your scanner and check. This is an A-class fighter. It's an A19 plus 4 slots. You've got a hauler over here that's a B23 plus 3 slots. Another fighter over there. This is a great way to find S-class ships or other great fighters. You can scan them in the sky when they're coming around like this. He's a B25 plus 4. So if you see something you really want after you've made a bunch of money, you're like, oh. Or remember the system and come back to it later if you see a particular design you want and you want to sit here and wait around until you get an S-class ship. So that's your first sell and buy. And now you come back up here to your system and you turn your economy scanner on, and we're in a red system, and that means the very next one we have to go to is orange. So here's an orange satisfactory. We just start scanning for one that is a high supply system. And you can just, this is the part that takes a little bit of time, but it's so worth it because you get the tier 1 goods that you want. And I, like I said earlier, I just generally try to point myself toward the galactic center and keep going in this direction. It'll take you forever to get there anyways without using black holes. there's an opulent system that's a blue one, but we're not on the cyan. We're not on the blue, green, purple track. We're on the red, orange, yellow, cyan track, and then we need an orange system next. It's an adequate one. There's a lot of medium and low supply ones, so it can take a while. This is the part that can take a while, and I know this is why Zane's advice recommends what he does, which is he spends some time building permanent trade routes, and he dresses them up with beacons so he can find the same trade outpost every single time. And these are out of jump range. There's a flourishing one that's out of jump range. That's too bad. So we got to back up, go back to our system. And there, oh, and here we go, really close by. I missed it the first time. There's a high supply one right there. Orange. So we're going to grab that one. I think it's because I'm actually going backwards from the galactic center, but that's okay. You find the nearest thing that works. A high supply system. It's brand new. We've never been to it before. And so again, if you were doing this, especially in the beginning of the game when everything is not maxed, the first thing you want to do is go into the space station. And then the next thing you want to do is go to the planet. Now here's one other thing. This is an airless planet, but it has a bunch of these lines pointing at it. These lines are typically trade routes. And that's one way that you can find trade routes. I'm kind of surprised. These lines must be going... I wonder if they're going through the planet. So since this is an airless planet, I don't think there's any trade... I've never seen a trade route on an airless planet. So I'm going to scan for one from space. There's a ton of them on this. See, here's one right here. I'll just show you the second way to find a trade outpost on a planet. If you follow these lines, they'll take you right to it. And this is why I recommend doing the closest planet to the space station, because these other ones can take up to a minute and a half to get to. But that planet that was closest was an airless planet, and I've never seen an airless planet have a trade outpost on it, despite those what look like trade route lines going to it. And while I'm here, I will mention one other thing that I strongly recommend you have. In addition to having antimatter on yourself or your ship, I also recommend you have quite a bit of tritium before you get started, so that you can keep your pulse engines up to speed and not have to waste any time going around and shooting asteroids so that you can get it. But I want to show you how these trade lines work. 19 seconds away from this planet. When you see two lines going down to a planet like this, you can see one line going down and another line leaving. These are the actual physical trade routes, and what I'm going to try to do is point my ship so I can land right on top of it. It's easier to do it when you're on the dark side of the planet like this. If you're on the sunny side, these lines can really disappear. Oh, and they got pirates going to chase us, and my recommendation with pirates is always just run. They will give up chasing you after about 30 to 45 seconds. I was hoping we'd come down right on top of that trade outpost, but I don't see it. My aim must have been a little off. So you can scan for it, and that might be it right there. That's 20 seconds away. Let's see if this is it. Yep, there it is. So that's another way that you can find a trade outpost. And this is our orange system, and our next system would be yellow, and the system after that would be cyan, and then the system after that would again be red, and you just keep hopping from system to system trading. So I'm going to sell all my goods, the fusion core, gel, power fluid. and we'll see that we're up to 136 million. So we started with 122 at the beginning of this video, and we're up to 136 million. And that is how you trade in No Man's Sky. Ooh, that's a nice looking fighter jet. It's A19+4. So folks, that's how you do trading in No Man's Sky. And it obviously I'm doing it with a really big ship and a completely maxed out exosuit, and I can make quite a bit of money from one planet to the next. In the beginning of the game, you aren't going to make that kind of money from run to run, but you can make money. That's the coolest part, is even with the most basic little hauler that you can get early in the game, or a shuttle or a ship you can find or anything, you can trade for these class goods, these class 4 and class 5 goods, the really cheap ones, the ones that are this one, the class 5 dirt, 530 credits per item. Buy these and trade them from system to system. All you need to, you can make your own antimatter. It's not hard to make. Same thing with the antimatter housing. So as long as you can travel from system to system, you can trade from the earliest part of the game. And it's a great way to make money, and in my opinion, it's way easier than setting up some elaborate base with an elaborate factory. So there you go. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. If you want to know more, I can answer any questions you have about this. But in my limited time playing No Man's Sky since the next update, I have found this to be the easiest way to make money. And it also, like I said, it's a huge advantage because you can go from system to system, and every space station, stop at it, check your exosuit, get the exosuit upgrade, check your multi-tool against the multi-tool that's there and see if it's better. Get the missions for easy nanites, and just upgrade as fast as possible. It's a great way to start out the game, and it works for the whole life of the game. So as always, if you like the content, subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, leave a comment. If you have a question, I'll do my best to answer it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.